Hello and welcome to DDOCast episode 542, recorded live on Saturday, December 15th. I'm your host, Patrick. With me this week, we have returning to the show after a long absence of gallivanting around Propane. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. I'm glad to have enough time to start playing the game a little more again. It's been quite busy in the real world, but glad to be back in Stormreach.
Happens to all of us, right? Kind of ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
With the tide. See what I'm doing here with the nice little picture?
Yeah, nice fun there. I like how you're shoring up your content.
Oh boy, we better move on before someone before we lose viewers. All three of them.
They're already hooked. Don't worry.
Yeah, right. We also have a new guest, Taralyn. Welcome.
Thank you.
And you are a guildie of Voodoo or Ginger Spice, who's been on the show a lot. So welcome.
Yep.
We'll meet. Yeah, absolutely. We'll meet Taralyn a little bit more later, but first, the screenshot. Corsair Decidi explores the Thunder Sea in the 395th screenshot of the week. Thanks for sending in this week's screenshot. Nice little underwater shot there. This is from the new quest, which actually I don't remember what the name is off the top of my head. Oops.
The new one.
Yeah, right. Lost at Sea or something like that, I think maybe. I don't know. Anyways, we like to talk about Dungeons & Dragons online nearly every weekend. You can catch us through Twitch, YouTube, the DDO forums, iTunes, or from our website, DDOcast.com. DDOcast hosted by Cyber Ears, the awesome podcast hosting network, and shows are usually available within a few days of recording. The next show will maybe be next weekend. Christmas is not too far away, and next weekend is kind of the, quote, Christmas weekend, at least as close as you're going to get to it. So, yeah, I don't know if there's going to be a show or not. But we'll be one the week after that, if not. Anyways.
Yeah, schedules can get flaky this time of year.
Yes, it does get challenging. And note to self, start planning for the year in review show. It's going to be coming up. Anyways, you can stay updated by following us on social media. At DDOcast on Twitter is the best place to find me. But there's also a Facebook page. I post the shows into Facebook, and I don't generally post D&D Night or DDOcast Plat in Facebook, but I do that on DDOcast on Twitter. So, anyways, on the podcast this week, we got a patch, so we get to talk about that a little bit. We also had the little bit of other kind of game news and community news. Before we kind of get into that, though, Taralyn, say hi. Who are you? What do you play? Give us a brief synopsis of who you are and say hi to everybody.
Hello, as said, I'm Taralyn. I play mainly on the Sarlina server with Voodoo and Company. You can actually hear me a lot on his stream. I often play casters, healers, archer types. I'm typically not a fan of the melee play style, but the rest of it I have a decent bit of knowledge of, and yeah, Voodoo calls me Inopedia for a reason. I find fun in studying the game.
I have to ask, just for clarification, does anyone in High Lords of Malkir play a melee? Because
we have a few.
Seems to be a noticeable skew.
Nimvin is actually running a melee bard this life, and we have quite a few others, but they tend to hang out more in legendary content.
Sure. All right. Well, welcome. Nice to meet you. Let's get into our game news. So we got update 41.1. This is the first patch, major patch after update 41, and we got a little bit of stuff with that. It's mostly kind of fixing things and that kind of stuff. The one thing we didn't get that we're told we probably would get was the Falconry for Favor. That didn't happen. It has been delayed until update 41.2, which they don't have a specific ETA to announce, other than it'll be the next significant patch. It's safe, however, to say it will be early 2019, which is, fair, since if it doesn't come out next week, it's not coming out during the week of Christmas, and it's probably not going to come out till after New Year's at that point. So the devs like to have a life and spend time with their families during the holidays. At DDOcast, we support that. If you don't, just No, it's a game. It's okay. We'll get it soon enough.
Yeah, another
Um,
couple weeks is fine. It's been a game
yeah.
for a while, so
But
just make it that much better when you get it.
it will be free agent tier 4. So you can start working on that right now if you want. I don't know how much favor that is. It might change even if it's kind of already listed. But there you go. That's kind of what's coming and how you can get that.
That is good to know.
Yes. It is a fun tree, I will say. I am enjoying it on my monk a lot. I was learning how to play it a little bit better. Learning to throw the bird as I'm going into combat, as opposed to one party there. I've actually gotten a lot of kind of good use out of you're attacking one thing and then throw the bird at something over here to crowd control it, knock it down. While I'm working on this thing, it's worked out pretty well.
That's one way to do it. I've been using it on my archers mainly so I don't have to sacrifice as much DPS to have top tier crowd control.
Yeah, it's a way to do it too. And see, I haven't done it as much on my archer. He does have it, and he has the trip one, but that's as much as he can get into, because don't want to lose too much of the other stuff I have that I kind of like. Out of the
No, that's good. They're adding enough stuff. It's getting really hard to spend the action points. There's
right.
a lot of tough choices, which is a good position to be in.
But,
Absolutely.
I would say that I think they're going to need a universal tree to really stretch the action points out of casters, perhaps next. It's kind of the next one. Let's see. Right, let's see. Other release notes. Bard's inspiration range is now properly 30 meters. It was too short. Let's see. The Bard Melody Inspire Excellence now requires 12 levels of Bard to unlock rather than 15. There's a variety of text inconsistencies that they fixed with that.
I've been playing my bards a lot more lately, just getting a feel after the updates, and it is a lot less tedious. It is nice to be able to just get in, buff, and go instead of doing all the songs in addition to it. So it's making it a lot more fun to play the bard.
That's good to hear.
Except for the initial buffing at the start of raids, that it's not so much singing to 12 people, it's the cooldown in between. But I will say having the proper range is definitely helpful, especially on spell singer bards that kind of don't want to be near the front line.
It's true. A tip for that too, remember you don't have to sing before you do anything else in the raid, right? Like if you're in Strahd, there's a whole card thing that you can start and sing during that. Killing Time has some stuff happening before that. You can sing. This may not be common knowledge, but you can sing and move at the same time on a bard. Just saying.
Yeah, it's one of the first bard lessons my old guild leader taught me way back.
But yeah, there's definitely, I would say, more of a bump on the front end of singing, but not having to. There's a bunch of songs that just last way longer. I think I was getting 20 minutes of time on my songs, which includes the heal over time, the spell points over time. So that's pretty significant. So it was kind of nice.
Yeah, and all the changes to the war chainer tree also, it makes it a lot harder to spend points, and that's a good thing because that creates more diversity in bar.
Diversity is good. Meaningful choices are sometimes a pain to make. Difficult, but yes.
You just throw up another alt and you can make both choices.
Yeah, because I don't have enough alts already. Thanks. Let's see. Eldritch Knight. The wizard variant of the capstone now has its proper tooltip. It previously claimed to grant +2 charisma instead of its actual +2 intelligence. Wizards could use some charisma too. Yeah. Let's see. Knight's transformation no longer repeats the tooltip information. Several buff effects granted from the tree now have their proper icons. That's always helpful. Let's see.
On the Knight's transformation, I do like how they kept the graphic with kind of wings look. That's a nice touch. I was very happy to see that.
I haven't played with it. Are you talking about on the character or the buff icon?
Wing on the character itself.
Kind of like tensors, or is it a little different?
It looks kind of like tensors.
Yeah, it's like a modified tensors.
Ooh, that's fun. Can't wait to see that. Let's see. The lightning bolt icon for Arcana Technicians is now properly square. Sharp Note from Spellsinger now stacks appropriately. The War Chanter's Song of Heroism is now passively part of Bardic Melody, and properly provides fear immunity. Also, apparently, it goes off very frequently.
No, I saw that in the forums, and when I played my War Chanter here last night, actually, I didn't notice that bug. So I don't know if it's every time or maybe they got it fixed or.
Yeah, I saw it, but I haven't. And I played with a War Chanter, but I did not actually notice that. So I don't know if it's just on the person actually playing or how that works or why it's happening. But they are looking into it. So that's good.
Yeah, it's still new. It's a major change.
Yes. And it definitely is a major change in playstyle, but I kind of like it so far. My bard's not getting a lot of playtime, but it is kind of fun.
Me
although
too.
I
It was a
did,
good quality of life move.
yes, I did threaten to, or did, we ran into Reaper, 3 Skulls Killing Time, and there was some brief thought about me pulling in my bard and singing at everyone and then switching back. It probably would have made much of a difference, though, because people died pretty quick. Anyways, see, the 6th core in War Chanter has been renamed from the very uncool War Master to Skaldic Scream. Skaldic Scream is definitely more interesting. See, scrolls for the new spells, the level 9 spells, can now appear in random loot, so that's pretty nice. Random and crafted orbs now properly appear on their users' hands rather than their wrists. I didn't see a picture of that. It's hilarious.
God.
Yeah.
I thought
I'm
it was
quite
funny.
excited. I'm quite excited to have the crafted orbs in game now. It makes that single weapon fighting style a lot more usage, easy to use, knowing you got a little more flexibility in what to do with the orbs.
Yeah. Have they been dropping like too much for you guys? Because I've noticed that several people in kind of my circles have been complaining about how often they're dropping.
We don't need another ghost touch. So
I've seen them dropping quite often. I just wish ones with slots would drop more often.
I was just going to ask, did they drop with slots? Has anyone confirmed that?
They have red slots.
Yeah, red.
Ooh, very nice.
So.
Off to the auction house we go.
I should probably start paying attention to the ones I get.
Someone didn't know what they had, and I bought one for like 30k plat.
Oh, nice.
There you go. Let's see. Recipes in the reacquire raid items device now displays the correct icons, so that's good. Cry of Battle Filigree set now functions as intended. I believe that's the hireling one, but don't quote me on that. Astral Projector no longer claims to grant piercing damage rather than evil. The Abishai cookies are now working again. Noxious Embers and Circle of Malevolence now have their proper effects. That's probably good. Curse of Shroud on Reaper and Hard now drops the appropriate amounts of Threads of Fate. Yay.
That's very nice. We're sick
Defiler
of running normal.
Yeah. What's weird here is so they put this in the item section, and then down in the Quest and Adventures areas it says Defiler of the Chest. Raid runes now properly drop, and Threads of Fate now properly drop. And
Well,
Curse
there's
of
a
Strahd
difference
properly
between the quantity and frequency, though.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
I
why
don't
they're
know.
looking at it.
Kind of weird that it's in 2 places. Anyways, most reacquire raid loot weapon recipes for weapons now function properly. Please note, there is an exception. The White Plume Mountain raid variants earned through Schism Shards do not work. Do not use them. It will consume your Threads of Fate. You will not get your thing. And that is the Schism Shard upgradable items. So don't use those ones.
Hang on to them.
Yep. Aria and Rain from Fatesinger now last 5 minutes instead of scaling with Bard Song duration. Behind the scenes a little bit from that, what Linwell was saying is basically having that tie into your class, your Bard class, if you had it, or not, if you didn't, meant that they basically had to like pseudo-ly grant you Bard levels in weird ways. It was a mess. That's the general. So it's easier to just say 5 minutes for everybody. Turn of the Tide now properly states it lasts 45 seconds. What was that?
I said it's probably a smart call.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes complexity is not needed. It makes sense. 5 minutes go.
And at that point, it's easy if people give feedback of 5 minutes is not long enough. Can we make it 6? Can we make it 7? That's easy to change, right? Grimm's Fate vulnerability from Fate Singer is no longer erroneously reduced by crowd control penalties and immunity. Interesting. See, as we mentioned, Defiler of the Just and Curse of Strahd, their Threads of Fate and Raid Runes should now be dropping properly.
Oh, Lost to Sea. There's your answer.
Yeah, right. Lost at Sea, it's no longer possible to defeat the end boss without completing the quest. Oops. The XP has also been adjusted to more properly match the quest difficulty and length. Yeah, that was a pretty short quest. I was a little surprised. So, on the topic of Raid Runes and Threads of Fate, there were reports that killing time on hard was having problems, at least from one person. Most people in the raid got it, but someone didn't. So that's being investigated as well.
I know there was some weirdness about you could only get them if you also got name loot to drop for you.
That was Curse of Strahd, I think, and Defiler of the Just. That was what was broken in those ones. So, let's see. Corvair Elves can once again take the Dragon Mark of Shadow. Warforged Bards now properly jump while moving and singing. Okay, so maybe the Warforged Bards couldn't move and sing at the same time, but now they should be able to. Let's see. SLA versions.
Paladin will be happy.
Yes. SLA versions of spells updated in Update 41 now have their proper tooltips. Scorch now does its listed damage, and Flame Arrow spell now states it gives 500 arrows, not 50, which is not. They're just changing the text. That's actually what it did. It actually gave you 500 arrows. But I think a lot of people maybe didn't realize that that was true. Let's see. They fixed an issue that could cause Season Pass owners not to get a free silver daily dice roll if they rolled their gold daily dice roll first. That's cool. You may have irreparably scarred me into rolling my silver first and then my gold roll. I used to roll the gold and then the silver. Not that it really matters, but I don't know. My luck seemed to always be better when I was rolling the gold first.
Is that immediate gratification of seeing the big prize drop first?
I don't know. I think it was just I was kind of going back and forth, and when I was going back and forth, it was inevitably whichever. It didn't matter if you roll gold first or silver first. I get the higher number on the silver roll without fail.
Are you suggesting the dies are weighted in DDO? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm suggesting that my luck hates me at times. Anyways, let's see. The standing combo attacks for dual wielding and Vishtani knife fighting have had their range slightly increased and are now standard with each other. There you go. So there's the release notes. The other thing of note, two other things of note. First, the season pass did sell out. It sold out on the 13th, so a couple days ago. So that means at least 1,000 people bought it and thought it was worth it. There you go.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. If you were wondering, still kind of on the fence of whether or not you should buy it, problem solved. You can't. Now you can instead focus on should you have bought it.
I couldn't afford it anyway, but I am glad it sold out. I said in a forum post a couple years back when people were complaining about the people who would buy this season pass, the game needs them. Ultimately, it doesn't bother me if people are buying their success or grinding it out.
Not really buying much success. So it's an Autos box, VIP content that many are probably already paying for in some way, shape, or form, and gold rolls every day.
Yeah, it really depends how lucky you are in the gold rolls. You could come ahead or behind depending on what you get.
Yeah, we'll see. I've been pretty lucky, but I'm also rolling on all the servers most days, so yeah, more rolling, more stuff. I've gotten some nice things on servers I don't play on. They will stand there forever and mock me. See, the other thing is Dragon Plus did an interview with Dungeons & Dragons Online of Tolero and Severlin talking about the city of Sharn and upcoming with that. So we'll link to that so you can read that interview. The biggest thing of note is that they mentioned that Tieflings will have an iconic rate or iconic class. So they will have that, according to this interview. But otherwise, it seemed to be mostly stuff we've already heard before regarding kind of what this might look like and kind of what they're envisioning for that. But it's kind
I
of
like getting the word out, though. A little publicity is good.
Mm-hmm.
The name out and about.
Yeah.
Absolutely, especially in a more mainline D&D publication like Dragon.
Sure. Titan is saying that the don't forget to mention the Silver Dragon armor cosmetic you get with the yes, you do get that. I wish it came in more variations, but it's pretty good looking. Let's see, some bugs we should mention.
Cute.
Yeah. This one was hilarious to me. Apparently, if you would like to rerun Catacombs, you either need to wait for your raid timer to expire or use a raid bypass timer.
Yeah, it's really a grave bug. I hope they get that one fixed.
I don't know how many people are looking to rerun Catacombs that quickly, but it's kind of funny. Yeah.
I'm shocked they found it, actually.
Right? It is kind of strange. Well, maybe not. I mean, a lot of people will just reacquire a quest right away after they complete it, so that may be what's going on there. Anyways, apparently, if you want to rerun Catacombs, I'm assuming the timer will run out naturally after it's 2 days and 18 hours, something like that.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Something like
It's
that.
just under 3 days. You can either wait for the timer to run out, or you can use a raid bypass timer. I'm not sure why you would, but you could if you wanted to.
You could be running at normal hard elite if you're a free account first level.
Yeah, maybe.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I know to answer the question in the chat, they did not say which iconic class the Tiefling would have, just that there would be one. So, all right, bonus days. DDO bonus days brings you 25% challenge boost now through December 20th. The sales.
Just taking advantage of that last night, trying
Nice.
to upgrade some bracers. I got a druid that's doing the Reaper event. We got kind of a dedicated group, so we're leveling from 1 to 30. So I'm quite excited to get the new upgraded challenge loot. Good timing.
Yeah.
If I didn't already have my set of frozen tunics and bracers of wind, this would definitely be a good time to make.
I need to check my list. I think I wanted to get a low-level Bracers of Wind just for Twink gear, but...
Now, they've, quote-unquote, recently updated that loot, so depending how old your loot is, some of the stuff is better with the new scaling of the loot tables and stuff. So the spare hand, I got to take a look at. I think it's more double strike, so that might be interesting.
Let's see, store news. December deals continue. This week's deals, 35% off of the Monk class, 50% off of Warlock class and ASMR race, 75% off of Hearts of Blood. So if you're looking for any of those, great time to buy them. That's really cheap on the Hearts of Blood. I don't actually know how much that would make them, but 75% off is a good deal. And again, if you don't have Monk or Warlock or ASMR, now's a good time to buy them. See, the actual sale for the week is Hack and Stash. It's 20% off of Slayer boosts, loot boosts, treasure hunter elixirs, and select shared storage now through December 20th. The coupon code is a free Mummy Rot Cure Elixir times 5 with the coupon code No Rot. That's actually kind of a surprisingly useful one. It's great for quests like, Wizard King. Just a pro tip. They don't do you much good if you leave them in your bank.
Yeah, true. And the Slayer pots are telling me it's a good time to do Epic Lock.
Yeah, there's that too.
I'm still waiting for to put a Slayer reset option in the game. Hint, hint.
I mean,
That would
technically
be
they have one.
awesome.
It's called Reincarnation.
Yes.
Probably not what
True.
you're looking for.
Almost.
It would be kind of nice. I even said just like not just a Slayer reset, but just reset all of my favor and quests. That'd be kind of nice. Although there will be some interesting things like, does that mean you lose your flagging for quests? I mean, even then it might be worth it, but
yeah. I mean, even just the Slayer count, when you get to the max count, it resets to 0.
Sure.
They even throw DDO points that way.
They would probably get some people buying that, yeah. Although that that might. I can see problems with that too, though. Like if it was just one Slayer area, because then even just Slayer areas, people might abuse that as a just level up that way.
I mean, the Epic Orchard, you could spend some time up there. The kills add up pretty quick, but
Yeah,
is that any worse than doing the dailies?
Good question. That's a good question. Let's see. Let's move into community news. The 313th Chronicle. Got a shout out here for check out episode number 3 of bonus D&D night, Waterdeep Dragon Heist, as the Dwarven heroes delve into the city's sewer system and come face to face with a nightmarish horror that may kill them all. Also check out the Waterdeep Dwarves +1 drow as they come to the D&D night on DDO stream on Sunday, December 30th. They are coming on that night because, basically, we have kind of a rotation of 4 groups on D&D night. It may not look it because there's like 2 long-standing groups, or now 1 long-standing group, and then the other 3 are kind of rotating in and out. But there's 5 Sundays in December, so we need another one. So Evil Beaker's already running a kind of bonus D&D night for some folks, and that's been kind of highlighted a little bit on the stream. They're going to take the 5th Sunday in December, so it'll be great. I am not actually sure who is running this weekend, though. But D&D night, Sundays, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch my D&D Kasplat group on the 2nd Sunday, which was last weekend, which we'll talk about later. Let's see. Community Spotlights. The comment for the week. What does the festival jester wear when it's not festivaled? I would assume a myriad of festival clothing. I'm not sure why he would change. Unless he's going in disguise, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe a fur outfit?
Evil Beaker saying even notes group should be this weekend for D&D night. Let's see. The guild for the week. Legends of Undermountain on Shalona is a long-running guild going through a refresh of members and looking for new and veteran players. Usual guild activity is during the evenings Eastern Time Zone, but come on at any time. They're looking for players that want to have fun and help each other out. They'll even accept lone wolf players just wanting a guild to call home after a long adventure. You can contact Cassandri or officers Arcia, Agathethalor, or Sadiri for invite in-game, or for an invite in-game via message or chat, or you can leave a character name in a thread that you can go through as well.
I wish them success.
You guys probably both run into them every now and then.
Yeah, Salona's been pretty busy lately, so it's good to see.
See. Fansite news. Axel had a playthrough of Lost at Sea, if you'd like to check that out. DDO Players News at episode 203. See, we got a shout out for DDOCast 541, which was part 1 of our Killing Time guide. Brock and Friends, The Legend Continues. Fridays on Ice at episode 106. There's a new episode of The Damsels of DDO. Bard Life with Doug Glendower, and Argo Guild Recruitment Drive. We got a shout out for our D&D Kasplat episode. Streaming with Even celebrated her 8th DDO anniversary, and Brinky and Payne were with DDO PL. Or maybe that should be Brinky and the Pain. I feel like there's an opportunity being missed here, but in any case, other stuff going on. Mickey's Delirium had her 101st Raids Week blog post, and also today on Saturday the 15th. Shroudapalooza will be on Kyber from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see. DDOCast News. DDOCast Splat will be on Tuesday this week. It will be our last week of the year because Tuesdays after that are Christmas and New Year's, and we're not playing on Christmas and New Year's. Not going to happen. However, we will be back next week. I'm not sure what we're doing, but we'll be playing. Also, D&D Kasplat. We had our 3rd episode this last weekend. It is on the DDO YouTube page or on Twitch. If you haven't watched it, you want to check it out. Having a lot of fun. Welcome to the new barbarian in the group, which I promptly tried to kill several times, nearly coming to success. Spoiler alert, his first combat, he ran in, swung his sword, got critically hit, went down to 0. They got him back up. He got critically hit again, went back down to 0. He got up, and then I hit him again, and he went back down to 0.
Look, I get that barbarians are supposed to be a little special, but come on.
Yeah, I kind of whacked him around a little bit. In my defense, he was in the front of the group, so I did tell him they needed another person to soak up some damage, and so he did that job admirably well. But it was a lot of fun, so you can check out that as well. And again, we'll be D&D Kasplat is on the second Sunday of the month on D&D Night on DDO Stream. Those are all 7 p.m. Eastern Time till 10 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/DDO Stream. Right, Lightning Post. A couple people wrote in this week. Rose said on the Seasons Pass topic, honestly, can't see where people are seeing the value in this. Is it because you get 2 years of VIP, or is the gold roll every day? Let's face it, it's not going to be jackpot every day, especially with her luck. Yeah, mine too. Perhaps it's the free packs. Okay, I guess. But if a person were grinding to purchase packs previously, then there's probably a reason they don't buy VIP. Whatever the value a person is seeing the software like for them to compare it to the Ravenloft Ultimate Fan Bundle for 130, she believes offered much more value for the cost. Yeah, I don't disagree. There's probably some more value there. I don't know. Go ahead.
It does kind of depend on how you're paying for the game, though, assuming you aren't paying for it at all. If you consider the autos box alone is like $50 worth of points or so, and suppose you're not paying yearly, but doing the 3-month plan like I am, so 30 every 3 months, that comes out even, and you get extra stuff.
It's true. Usually, a lot of people will tell you that an autos box costs about $35. It depends on how many points you buy at a time. So that's kind of here we generally kind of shortcut it and just say a penny a point means $1 for 100 points. So 5,000 points, $50. That's kind of the easy math. Of course, you can get it cheaper depending on how many points you're buying. But yeah, like you said, for some people who don't have as much disposable income, maybe they're paying more. Instead of, the one thing I would say, it would have been nice if they released this earlier, at the same time as maybe when they did the double bonus points, because some people I could see a lot of people planning around Black Friday, Cyber Monday, expecting there to be a point sale and planning on buying points at that point in time, and then you came up with this really quickly after. So I have a feeling that the Seasons Pass probably would have sold a lot faster if it was at the same time or before, or at least not right after a double bonus point sale. Kind of a guesstimate there.
I see your point.
Yeah, because you especially if you get one of the larger double point packages, that's a chunk of change, and then a week or two later this comes out, and you're like, you're almost paying a monthly car payment for your addiction. Although 2 years, it's the math has been done. It all really depends on your perspective and how you play the game. I would suspect if you run a lot of different servers, the extra gold rolls may be a little more exciting. That level of just resources, trying to get stuff. So, but I'm
playing
glad
on more
they
than one
sold out
server, it's going to be more
game.
helpful.
Yeah.
Look, at the bottom line is it's another way of being able to purchase the game. That's not a bad thing. I would say that value will vary for person to person. I think I don't think the value is terrible. I certainly I think there was some opportunity there to have maybe more value.
I mean, they obviously could have thrown in some shards or another pet or other things they could have thrown in there, but they made it. They sold it.
Yep. I saw someone suggest, if this had the racial action point tome, even the same one as Ravenloft, it probably would have sold a lot better. I don't disagree. So that would have been an option. The one thing I was kind of wishing was the silver armor. If they'd have made different versions of it, and you just got one randomly for each character, so you'd get a little bit more variety. But
yeah.
Oh well. It was enough.
That
it was
could have been fun.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been too hard to kind of mix and match them as you wanted to. We'll say though, 1,000 people decided that it was worth it. I also know a couple people that it's pretty close. It's close enough to same value for the buck. I like the game. I love playing the game. I'm gonna support the game by buying it. So there are some people that are doing that too, which is probably where I landed as well. So, anyways, Mark wrote in. He said the season's pass is very odd. 2 years VIP and autos is $230. Okay, so $70 more is 600 gold rolls, but realistically you won't log in daily. 90,000 astral or 9,000 astral shards is 600 gold rolls. You're better off buying those shards now or on sale. You'll receive the benefits immediately, not have to log in daily. Sure. There's some funky math that we're kind of ignoring there. There's things like how many servers are you rolling on can change how much is there. There's also, I think most people are tending to kind of ignore the fact that if your VIP lapses, you'll keep any of the adventure packs, the VIP content that comes out during this time frame. So there's a little bit of value there. What's that value worth? Whew, that's a hard question to answer. We don't know what the content is. If you're thinking of
going premium in the future, I could see, okay, a VIP now, and then this allows me to go premium easier and have more stuff.
Mm-hmm. They did a similar thing in Lotro, and I didn't look at it, but I think I heard on DDO Players News that it was back buying content as opposed to forward buying content, which, there's advantages to both, right? If it's back buying, then it's going to be less appealing to people who already own the content. Forward buying, it's more appealing to people now. There's a lot of variables that go into it, but Fuzzy Duck 81 wrote in. It says that it's really liking Eldritch Knight. And it's taking a bit of time to get used to the short range on spells, particularly cone spells, which have the full cone visual, but its effects won't reach. But the up close and personal style is a lot of fun, and it's got a surprising amount of kick. Though it's important to remember you're still somewhat squishy. Also be aware that there's a bit of an SP tax for them, since you'll probably want to always have Quicken spell on for a few more things than you would for a regular ranged spellcaster. Yeah, probably. The spell damage changes are really nice. The new level 9 spells are a welcome addition. They hit hard and are just phenomenal and heroic and high heroic content, particularly the AoE Acid Well spell, which is kind of like a lesser damage but distance targetable energy burst spell. So the season pass looks pretty good, and if they're able to make adventure packs available to buy while VIP subscriptions are active, it's doubly good, since you can save VIP points and buy them when there's a sale. And when the season pass runs out, you'll still have access to a lot of the content. They have been talking about that and trying to make that work. It'll be interesting. We'll have to have another layer of tech, though, because someone on a season's pass shouldn't have to buy that content. So it needs to not let them buy that content a second time, right? Let's see. VIP quality of life benefits for premium players. So there are. This is kind of something that maybe gets glossed over a little bit when we're talking about the season's pass. If you're not already a VIP, you can now VIPs can open on Elite the first time. They don't have to. It's not based on what past life you're on or what life you're on. You have an XP bonus. I think you run a little faster in public areas. There's a destiny manipulation in public areas, so you don't have to go to a fate spinner.
That's quite nice. I use that more often than I would have expected earlier on.
It's so nice for quite a while. I didn't realize it was a thing. It was even a thing I was getting. I thought everyone could do it.
As to the first point with the Eldritch Knight, I think I'm one of the few who actually like the old tree. I gotta try the new tree. That's on my list. But hey, if people are finding it,
I've tinkered with it a little bit, but I have never really gone very high into it. Mostly because my casters, either one of my casters, they take like the low hanging fruit defensive stuff and stay out of combat as much as possible.
Yeah, I had a Blade Forge, 12 Sork, 6 Pally, 2 Fighter that I got to 30, and it was painful. The DPS was low on that, so
Sure.
I'm halfway tempted to try it again because a lot of the updates now is on the DPS side quite a bit. The extra element damage and some of the tier 5 stuff does look pretty cool, so I may give it another run.
Wonder if we'll see any Tukao builds come back.
I had a Tuka. Unfortunately, I don't think they're sturdy enough now. Evasion doesn't provide as much of a benefit as it used to. So I'm thinking about changing that build over to a 16.4 so I can get native Turn Undead to fuel Divine Mights with.
There you go. Fun. All right. Well, that'll bring us to the end of the news section of the show. So thanks for listening. Taralyn, do you have anything you want to plug before we head out?
Yeah, you can often find me on Twitch on Voodoo Spice's channel, which is twitch.tv/Voodoo Spice, but occasionally I do also stream for myself. I'm at twitch.tv/Taralyn. I stream DDO, I stream working on artwork and certain retro games as well. I like to change things up.
Nice. Propane, anything you want to plug before we head out?
Just mention back in the game a little bit more. So if you see me running around Salona, say hi. Most of my alts have some sort of fuel variant. And I said I'm guild leader in Brotherhood of Redemption. So if you're looking for a home, we're always looking for good people as well.
Yeah, great. All right, so thanks for the guests, for Taralyn and Propane for joining me today. Thanks to all the contributors for DDOcast, and to Standing Stone Games and Wizards of the Coast for making DDO happen, and to Cyberraiders for hosting the podcast. If you'd like to support the show, you can visit our website, DDOcast.com, or you can support us on Patreon. If you have a DDO-themed webpage, or you Twitch DDO and you'd like to be featured on our website, you can email me at ddocast@gmail.com. Hit us up at ddocast.com for show notes, MP3s, our calendar, previous shows, and other fun stuff. If you'd like to be a part of the show, or have a comment on this episode, or a question you'd like to hear us answer, a topic you'd like to hear us discuss, or you just want to say hi, you can leave a comment or email us at ddocast@gmail.com. You can also find us on social media and follow us for the latest cast updates. At DDOcast on Twitter is the best. So stay tuned. What we've got next is part 2 of our guide for killing time. Enjoy. Welcome. We are continuing our discussion about killing time. This will be part 2 of, I don't know, 3 or 4, 3 at least, maybe 4. We'll see how well we do here. I'm your host, Patrick. With me this week, joining me again is Voodoo. Welcome back.
Thank you. Hey, everyone.
Yeah. And again, we're talking about killing time. Last time, what we talked about was how to get, like, what to prepare for, what to bring. We talked about kind of an overview of the quest. We talked about Korkaza and her special attacks and how to kind of prevent those and watch out for those. And we talked about the penalty box rooms. There are several penalty boxes in the quest. Was there anything else that I forgot that we talked about? We got everything.
What to expect, what to bring.
Yeah. I'm actually going to change the background graphic so that we can look at the map so you can see kind of what we're talking about with the different islands.
That's funny because I was just going to bring that graphic up, but we actually have them numbered.
Yes.
Can I give you that link?
You could.
I'm just going to put it in chat.
Yeah, that's fine. And the reason I'm doing this is it just can be helpful for kind of what to expect and which islands to move to. But this kind of gives you an idea of where they are. And you can see the center island, which we were talking about last time. And we're ready to kind of talk about how to move through the different phases of the raid. So at this point we've either cleared or decided we're not going to clear the penalty rooms. If you don't clear them and someone falls, they can take a stab at clearing the room. Some builds, depending on what you're running, can handle some of these rooms, no problem. If you die in the room, your stone just ends up at the spawn point, which is where the arrow is on this map. So
I did not realize that.
yes.
So you could just die and then yeah. Oh, is there a res shrine there?
Nope.
Or somebody would
Someone has
have
to
to
go
save.
and pick
Okay,
you
so
up.
you have to save you. Okay, that makes sense as to why people can get away with not clearing them. Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
realize that.
And again, as I mentioned last time, though, if your tank falls off, generally speaking, the tank is, one, less good at killing things, and two, good at not dying. Those are kind of so you're just gonna kind of have to manage that, right, and be aware of that.
Hey, can I talk about the map? There are some things I want to point
Yeah.
out. All right, let's bring that up. So there are some little things on the map that can help you figure out where things are. So first, you can see there's a little red dot towards the center, right next to that center island, just to the left, by the T and DDOcast. That is Korkaza. So look for that little red dot. If you're not sure where Korkaza is, that's where she is. Also, you'll notice there's sort of like 3 bigger islands, one in the east, one in the west, and one in the south. And you'll see there's like little portal-shaped symbols. So those are sort of the main islands of the raid, and those are where we're going to talk about the other parts where these other big fights are happening. But you can see there's like little portal symbols. They're kind of hard to see, but they're just on the inside edge of each of those islands. There's 2 islands on the left side, 2 small islands on the left side that you don't ever visit those. You might pass by them, but there's nothing ever happening on those islands. And then there's 2 small islands on the right, and those are the islands where Korkaza does visit, and one of them a couple of times, and those have very easy to distinguish shapes. So like the one in the north, you can see it looks like an X or a cross. So you can call that one the X Island, and then the other one down there we affectionately call the Mr. Potato Head Island because it looks like Mr. Potato Head with all his little pieces around it. So, it's
I
good
like
to
that
have
name.
names
That's a
for
good
these
name.
islands. And, okay, we're going to Mr. Potato Head. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to mention about the islands.
So the first fight is going to take place on that cross-shaped island. So that's where, in the northeast, that's where the first fight. It's also where the last place that she goes to, assuming you don't continue beating her down needlessly. The mechanics on this island in both of those parts are exactly the same. She will not do the rune attack, she pulls her wings in and does the runes around the head. She also doesn't do the slam attack. I'm not even sure if she does. I think she still does the curse damage attack, but I'm not even sure if that's true.
She's definitely polite in that she doesn't do all of her attacks
Yes.
on the tiny islands, because that would be
Obscene.
that would be
There's nowhere to go.
yeah, it'd just be rude, I mean, yeah.
The best place, and I'll move this a little bit here. The best place where you kind of want to be for the tank, the plus is kind of cockeyed just a little bit to the clockwise direction. If you think about where 10 o'clock is on that island, with 12 being north, that's where you want your tank, is to park on that spot. And then what that does is about 3 o'clock, where there's on the other side, so back into the dragon's right as they're facing towards 10 o'clock, there's a spot where you can stand that is generally pretty safe from her attacks. She won't hit you with her attacks, even when she flips around. So just a little bit of a safer spot to stand. There are, and this is probably a good time to start talking about some of the environmental effects. There are orbs. I'm not sure what the proper name to call them are, but they're orbs that they're kind of glowing pinkish. Pink.
You can call them chaos orbs because they do chaos damage.
They do. They're not the traditional chaos orbs where they have random effects. But these things will move across the islands, doing damage as they pass. It's not a lot. I think on hard, I'm usually taking around 100 to 150 points of damage a tick. But if you're not careful, i.e., if you're running in the same direction as them, you're going to take more damage. So you kind of want to be aware of this. Now, this first island, again, there's not a lot of space to move. So probably your safest option is to suck it up and take it.
Now, they do move in a regular pattern,
do.
so if you are observant, you can move out of their way. But they will tear some people up, for sure.
And this, like I said, this island, the dragon is going to take up pretty much the entire center area of the island.
There is not a lot of room on these smaller islands. That map doesn't really capture like how little space there is on those, like the Plus Island and the Mr. Potato Head Island.
The good news is you won't be on this island very long. And all you have to worry about on this island is Korkaza. So you beat her down to, I don't know, what is it, 70, 75%? It's not very far. And she will fly away. And she will come back to the island that is in the northwest, the bigger island that kind of looks like a dog head with its little floppy ears. I'm going to do, what are the Rorsch tests? You know where they do the ink blot? Like, what does this look like? What are we doing with these
Yeah.
islands? Anyway, so you have to move over to that island. And you'll do another fight there. I believe, trying to remember, make sure I have my island straight. This island has it might be the one in the south, but I think it's this island, has this weird little outcrop in the middle of the island that you can actually, as the tank, that's where I like to put my back to that, and then she can't blow you back. She just knocks you into that little outcropping, which can be really nice for making sure you don't get knocked around too much.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I wanted to mention that for the X Island as well. That the tank should have their back to one of those outcroppings, so that if you do get pushed back, you don't get pushed off the island.
Yeah, you want to stay
and
pretty
another
tight
good
there.
point, if you are the tank, it's also good to make sure you're facing the dragon away from whatever the direction the party is coming in from. You don't want the party to get blasted as they're floating into that island.
Yeah.
And if you're the party, and you're moving with the tank, don't be in a hurry to get to that island if you're not the tank. Let the tank get there first.
It is kind of their job. The only exceptions being maybe you need to get someone there to save time or something if the tank goes the wrong direction. Pro tip, the dragon always moves counterclockwise. Is that right? Yeah, it's always moving counterclockwise. So that can help.
No.
Yeah.
She does from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, but from 4 to 5 she goes the other way. From 4 is the big island in the east, and then the 5th island is the southern island. So she does.
That's a reset. Sorry,
reverse.
that's a reset. That's why I would make this decision. Anyways.
Okay.
So each of these times you'll fight. The first 2 times you'll fight her, and then she'll move to another island. It's always going counterclockwise. So, and as I said, on the plus shape island, face her towards 10 o'clock. That's really which direction you want to be facing her. Stay in pretty tight as you can. Whenever you're tanking and there's people around, I always try to stay in pretty tight, so if she knocks you back, you're still within intimidation range. She won't knock, if you're blocking, she won't knock you down, but she'll still knock you back. Tumble is a really handy thing to have as a tank in here, just because it allows you to keep blocking and move. It also is, it can be pretty handy for like doing incremental moves to kind of get to right where you want to be a little bit too. So, all right, so we get to this second island, and you're going to have the orbs, the chaosy orbs kind of roaming around doing damage. You want to watch out for that. This island will also have several waves of trash. They will be elves, similar to what you would find in Vaughn 3. Hint, we're going into Vaughn 3 in a minute. The Vaughn 3 Redux. And just one quick note on that, protection from evil. They do cast Greater Command. So you want to be aware of that. Our strategy is when the trash comes, everyone just kills the trash. It doesn't really respawn. It spawns at certain points of health. It doesn't just keep continually respawn those trash. So
I think that's something I just learned, is that I thought it did continuously respawn until the dragon reaches, her critical point where she flies away. So I'm not sure about that.
Not the basic trash. The parasites, which we'll run into later, do continually respawn, but the other stuff does not.
Okay, yeah.
So on this island, it's going to be elves and stuff like that. Let's see, anything else? This island you will run into. She will use the some of those other special attacks that she wasn't using on the smaller island. It's pretty much true. If you're on a big island, her full array of attacks are going to be there. If you're on a small island, she won't use the ones that make you move in and out. That will happen. You will also, on the big islands, she will drop blue circles, like the ones in Mark of Death and Curse of Strahd. Not the one that's several concentric circles and is using whole area. Just small little areas. You want to move out of those. Because they will explode and do damage to you. So you really got to pay attention to where you're moving and kind of moving in and out of. And when does trash spawn? Where are these chaos orbs? There's a lot of stuff here that's going to kill you. And the dragon is probably the one that's the easiest to keep track of. So kind of be aware of that stuff.
Are you talking about the countdown boom?
Nope. That comes later.
Okay. That's next island.
That comes later. That does not happen on this island. It will happen later. But it's just little circles. Anything else you wanna mention about fighting on this island?
No.
You have
It's the easiest one.
You have more room to maneuver. The trash is the easiest to deal with. There's no parasites. There's a couple other environmental things that aren't happening on this island. So yeah, if you're having trouble here, it's only gonna get harder. Good luck. Have fun.
Yes.
Generally, like what we try to do with the groups that I'm in, we try to huddle up, especially the melee. But it's helpful if the range can take a couple of shots, or at least a tail slap, for everyone to kind of pick right leg or right hind leg or left hind leg. Pile up there. You're closer for mass healings. You can use auras, healing walls, whatever you want. And then if a blue circle appears there, move to the other leg and do the same thing. And you just move back and forth, back and forth. Works out pretty well. It's also a place that, other than the tail slap, and if she flips around, you're pretty safe. However, if you're looking for that flip around, dodge, move, especially if you're squishy, it'll get you pretty good. I do want to mention, a lot of people that I run this with, what they'll give you as kind of the mechanic for the tail slap is the dragon turning her head around. The problem is that's very similar to I'm turning all the way around and going to slap you in the face, as opposed to doing a tail slap. You can actually see, what I prefer to use as my tell is she'll raise her tail up and then slam it down. So you can see the tail going up, as opposed to she turns around without raising her tail. So kind of how I like to look at it.
It freaks me out as the tank too when she looks behind her, because I always think I'm losing aggro, but it's just she's doing her tail slap.
Yeah. I have noticed that, and like I said, someone posted a guy that suggests that she will just turn around occasionally anyways and then turn right back around. I have not experienced that same mechanic, and I don't know if it's because my timing of when I intimidate, like I'll intimidate and she'll come back, or what exactly is up there. However, if you do notice that she's starting to turn around, hold that intimidate just a second. Let her get turned around and then intimidate to get her back. I have noticed that as a thing to manage with your intimidate.
Yeah, intimidate definitely seems to be a little wonky, and she does seem to flip around a bit.
Yeah, and it's hard to say exactly what the mechanic. There's so much going on, and as soon as she turns around, I'm intimidate. I mean, I'm pretty much hitting intimidate the whole time anyone's on the island, anyways. Even though there's not people on the island, because I'm building up aggro with just intimidate. So it's a little hard to kind of tell exactly how that mechanic works. But she will probably turn around on people and slap them and bite them into a nice big cleave. The squishier people may die. That's why I say if you see that head turn around, you might need to move, especially if the tail's not also moving. It's just kind of, you got to pay attention to that and what's going on there. Okay, so after that happens, she's going to open up the portal to go into a time rift, and that's going to be to go into the end fight of Von 3. Your tank and healer will need to go off to the east side into what you're calling the Potato Head Island, kind of southeast.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that more after we talk about Von 3 and what happens in there, which is pretty basic. There's not really a lot going on in there. You want to take the lead on this one?
Sure. So you're stepping into basically immediately before the end fight of Von 3, and so you have the Beholder, and you have the Drowcaster guy, and you have the Troll, and you need to beat them down. And I mean, we haven't bothered with any special
They're
strategy here. It's
they're
just a beat down.
marginally better than they would be. Like on hard, they seem to be marginally tougher than they would be on R1. Maybe not even that tough if you're running Von 3.
You probably want to have everybody focus on
The Beholder.
maybe like the caster or the
Yeah.
Beholder first, and then everybody on the other one, and then the Troll last. So just if you focus DPS, that's probably going to be helpful. And then once you clear those 3, then you're going to go into the larger adjacent Marut chamber, and you're going to fight the Marut. So there, it's definitely helpful to have a tank. You're just going to beat the Marut down. It's not really anything different than your standard Von 3 end fight.
There are the Earth Elementals that will spawn, the 3 that will spawn, so take care of those. They're pushovers. Not too difficult. You can insta-kill them too. So, after you do this, there's a shrine. You will get a shrine at the end of each of these rifts. Please note that if you are the tank that's outside or the healer outside, you will not have access to this shrine. You cannot, as far as I'm aware, you cannot go back. I think I tried it and it just sends you back to the beginning. You can't actually get into the room after you clear it. So
something we have done in a pinch is if the tank can be self-sufficient for a couple of minutes, is right before they finish that portal area, is to have the healer run over there real quick before they finish it, so he can squeeze in the shrine and then quickly get back. But your tank really needs to be self-sufficient for at least a good minute.
Probably 2.
Yeah, probably closer to 2.
It's yeah, and this is probably the worst island to do that with, because we're tanking on that potato head one. The dragon is basically as wide as the island. In order to move from front to back, you have to jump on the little miniature islands. So moving around on this island is like, I like to tumble it to a little bit side to side to get her to kind of be moving and not hitting me as much. I don't do that here. There's just not enough room on this island to do any of that stuff, which really makes it makes that a little bit more challenging to manage. The good news is this is the easiest of the 3 time rift rooms. It's just killing the Marut. There's no special mechanics involved with any of this. It's pretty easy. So
when you're moving from island to island, it can be helpful to, like if you're going from the Mr. Potato Head Island to that one, that you just came from, which is all the way across the map, instead of going around, you can just fall off, reappear at the center, and then go from the center to that island if
you
it makes
cleared
more sense.
the rooms.
If you cleared the penalty boxes, yes.
The way that I actually like to go from that room in the northwest to the Potato Head Island, the island over there, I'll actually go back to the north, and on the north side of the main island where you spawn in, there's a set of jets that you can ride all the way up to that center island, and then I'll run across that and jump over. That's how I tend to go that direction. Just makes it a little easier, I think, than going around. It's a little faster too, I find. Okay, so we get to that Potato Head Island. Remember, the tank is going to be going there first. I highly recommend the tank face the dragon to the east. And then the healer, either of the islands closer towards the center. Healer can stand there and be very safe. There's there's no mechanics, none of her special attacks that make you move in or out or move around or anything. It's just breath weapon and tail slap and stuff like that. So, pretty basic stuff to deal with there. I can tell you that the Chaos Orbs here, I know their pattern on this island and this island only, because all they do is they do a pass on the outside islands and then they do a pass on the inside island, and they just kind of keep repeating that. It's pretty basic. It's the only one that I've actually kind of been able to watch and learn from what they're doing. The other ones seem to kind of do more of a spirally patterns, so they're harder to kind of keep track of. At least with all the other stuff going on. All right, so we beat her down on this island. We go one island, so we're about 4 o'clock. You're going to go up to about 2 o'clock onto that main island there. And again, as with the other big rooms or the big islands, now we're talking about she's got the her 4 range of her attacks in here. This time the trash is devils. So you'll get some bearded devils. I think there's some orthons in there as well. Maybe some tieflings. I don't really remember as much. Again, I'm usually tanking when I run this raid, and I'm usually watching the warlocks in our party or casters just kind of insta kill all this trash pretty quick. So, and I'm usually trying to move, not die. So you're gonna get a couple waves of devils on this island. I prefer to keep Korkaza facing outside the circle, just as a general rule. So as people are landing on the island, they're landing in a safe area. Let's see. Anything else we want to mention before we start talking about parasites and the joys of parasites?
Generally speaking, when the tank and the healer are alone, don't spend time DPSing the dragon because that can cause trash to spawn on these larger islands. You're just babysitting the dragon. If trash starts, if you start beating her down and trash starts spawning and the
You're
party's not
hosed.
there and it's just you and the healer,
You are
yeah,
so
you're probably
hosed.
going to be screwed. So just, hold her aggro, you're babysitting her, you're staying alive, and that's it. Don't DPS her.
The first island, the cross-shaped island, and the one with the potato head-shaped island do not have trash. So if you're alone and you're feeling you want to show off a little bit and you want to DPS a dragon, it's not really going to change anything. Other than
you can build up some hate.
Other than your survivability. But if you don't have any survivability to speak of, then why not? When we come back after the Tower of Despair room, though, you definitely don't want to DPS the dragon. We have learned this one from experience as well. Okay, so we're back on the fourth island in the northeast. You get devils for trash. And what is it, like 40%, 50%, somewhere in there. She's going to start spawning parasites.
Oh, these are so bad.
These hurt. The little glowing orbs, they're kind of orangish. I do not.
They look like red will-o-wisps.
Yeah, there we go. That's a good way of putting it. They shoot at folks. Again, my recommendation is as stuff spawns, everybody go kill it. When the parasites first spawn, you're gonna get 5, 6 of them, 4 to 6 of them, somewhere in there.
Something like that.
My recommendation is kill them all. Have everyone go and kill them. After you're done killing them, they will respawn kind of one at a time. At which point your insta killers can kind of deal with them, or you can have 1 or 2 people deal with them. This is a good time to unload on Korkaza if you've been holding some bursting, some mini. It's a good time to. I like to hold on my ranger. I'll hold my fury shot until the parasites start to spawn, just so that once they're out, okay, this is a phase where you need to move. You need to keep moving because if you don't, you're going to keep getting parasites, and they're just going to keep coming back. And it's the same is true on the next island, except for the next island, there's a twist. It's a lot of fun. So there you go. I do not believe the purple circles show up on this island. But there are. I think you can get the boom on this island, the countdown timer one. And just out of
I don't remember.
Yeah. The islands start to bleed together after a while, especially when you're tanking and you're out there for all you're doing is staring at a dragon for 40 minutes. The way those two mechanics work is you'll see purple circles on the ground and they kind of pulse in and out. Don't stand in them; they will damage you. Pretty basic there. The other one is the blue circles. Sometimes you'll get a blue circle, and as you move away from it, it will follow you, and then you'll get a countdown timer on your screen. Get away from other people so that they don't get zapped as well. I have not noticed it chaining on other people. I think it just zaps those around you.
Yep. If you're in the aura that's following you, then they get hit, and it's a significant amount of damage. It's really, really important to watch for that. and to get away from everybody else if you have it until it counts down. It's very similar to the boom
Yep.
in Fall of Truth, except it doesn't, like you said, it's not contagious. You're not
Right.
going to pass it to anybody. It's just going to blow up on them.
The thing that a lot of people talk about how to look out for there's a pink shaft of light that'll be going to your character. There's a number.
Yes.
There's a number that pops up. Those are indicators. The thing that I watch for is the blue circle. If the blue circle follows you, don't run to other people. That's what I look at.
There's a red beam of light that shoots vertically out of anybody who has it. And that's very easy to see from, like, if you're on the other side of the dragon, you can see, and if you start seeing people that have it, call it out. Hey, you've got the thing, get away from everybody else.
I'll tell you, I disagree. I don't think it's easy to see because all of the air shafts have the same damn graphic going on for them.
No, but the air shafts have a white.
No, there's
beam,
like
they?
a red line. It's the same red
Right.
line. I know this because I've confused it several times. I
Okay.
keep seeing it, so that's why I say I look for the blue circle around people.
Yeah.
Because everyone
Multiple
can see it.
tells
Yeah,
in any
everyone
event.
can see it. The blue circle follows you. If it's following you around, go away from everybody else.
The worst thing you can do here is, like, go to the tank or,
Yeah.
go to a bunch of people. Like,
Go give the healer a hug.
You could potentially wipe a party as a result of sloppy
Yeah.
reactions to this.
The damage is at least on hard is not terrible or completely debilitating, but you do kind of want to be paying attention to it. And again, in and of itself, this damage mechanic is not going to be a huge problem for you. But if you throw in other blue circles, a dragon trying to kill you, trash, parasites, and these Koryas floating around, all of those things together, you're suddenly going to take 150 damage from 6 different sources, and you're going to be dead. So you kind of got to pay attention to all the stuff that's going on around you.
It can be pretty chaotic on these islands, and Patrick, you said this already. I do want to emphasize that, you really want to beat the dragon down as fast as possible here because, like you said, these parasites are going to keep respawning and they are extremely painful and you can get a lot of attrition. And if you keep having attrition every time parasites come out and you got low DPS and you're beating the dragon down really slowly, then that attrition is going you're going to become overcome. It's going to start to become really, really difficult when you're down to 7, 6, 5 people trying to hold things together, and Korkaz is still at 50% or something.
I will say that again, you will get a wave of devils that will spawn after the parasites are out. I do recommend that you kill those. They don't respawn. They spawn at certain points of their health. That's all that they do. So I pretty much say as a basic rule here, kill all the trash until you get to a point. You'll get to a point where there's one parasite popping up every 30 seconds or so, and that's something that 2 or 3 people can handle. Particularly insta killers can just one shot them, right? Until you get to that point, my recommendation is just have all the party go and kill the trash. Especially when you start considering that it gives the tank a little time to catch up on the intims and holding aggro a little bit better too. So it kind of breaks up that aggro a little bit, which can really help keep the dragon from turning around and creaming everyone multiple times. So it's something that you can kind of consider in that regard.
Mass Frog can work against the trash,
Yep.
but if it works on the devils, then they must have an extremely high save because we haven't
Spell
had
resistance.
luck on the devils.
I'm sure
Is
it's
that what it
probably
is?
spell resistance would be my guess.
Got to be really high then.
Yeah. Devils usually have a pretty good spell resistance, but yeah, you can use Mass Frog in here. I haven't seen it used to great effect or noticed it being used really great effect at any time, but it is absolutely something you can use. We should mention too that I'm not sure if it's intended, but there are real champions in this raid, not the Shroud Crown, fake Crown champions. Like these are real champions that can randomly have death block and different immunities. So watch out for those guys. Particularly if you know which ones have protection from have death block. Those are ones that the martial guys really need to get on. So because the casters are probably gonna have problems dealing with those.
Real remnant dropping
Yeah.
champions.
You do get remnants too.
You will get remnants.
It's a little weird. So Sandy Some Games, if you're listening, is that supposed to be true? Oops. Yeah. All right.
Kind of not cool.
I don't mind. I don't so much mind it, other than the fact that they have said that they're not supposed to be in raids.
Right.
So
That's the
I
thing.
think it's wrong. I think it's broken. But it does, it adds a little bit of flavor to things, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. However, when we start talking about parasites with shields that prevent martial damage that you can insta kill unless they have a death block from a champion on them, then you start getting into problems. All right. I think what we'll do is we'll cut it here. We'll be back next week for part 3 of Killing Time, and we'll see if we can finish it out. Might be able to do it in 3, but if not, we'll have 4 weeks set. In any case, thanks for listening. Join us next time. We keep talking about Killing Time. Thank you to Voodoo. Again, if you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, he's got a whole bunch of stuff on there. Do you have any Killing Time videos yet?
Just the one that we did first night. Although we have been live streaming it
Cool.
every time we run it on Thursdays. So
There you go. So they give you an idea of, you can watch some people actually kind of run through it. I'm probably due to actually record a run of this. Except the problem is, the reason I don't record it is, if I'm the tank, it's going to be a really boring video. It's going to be me in front of a dragon for 40 minutes. So, anyways, if you'd like to support the show, you can visit our website, DDOCast.com, or you can support us on Patreon. You can also find show notes, past shows, and more on our website. You can also find us on social media. Follow us for latest cast updates. I am at DDOCast on Twitter. If you'd like to join this discussion, leave a comment, or you can email us at ddocast@gmail.com. Tell us all the things we get wrong, or other tips and tricks you have as well. We love sharing all that stuff. Make sure we get the best information out there. So until next time, may all your attack rolls be crits, all your tests level appropriate, have fun, and don't forget to gather for buffs.